Have you ever seen a man who threw away the love of his life only to regret it the moment he saw another man treat her like a queen? Well, what if that man was your ex-husband and the one who replaced him was a billionaire? Stick with me till the end because what happened that night left everyone frozen in disbelief. And before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel because this story will touch your heart deeper than you expect. The grand hall shimmered with golden chandeliers, laughter echoing against the marble walls as guests in expensive suits and glittering gowns mingled around. It was a charity gala hosted by one of the most influential businessmen in the city, Ethan Knight, the mysterious billionaire known for his quiet power and golden heart. But that night, all eyes were not on him. They were about to fall on a woman who once walked through pain like fire and came out shining. Her name was Lila, and tonight was the first night she had dared to attend a public event since her divorce. 3 years ago, Lila had been married to Daniel Reed, a successful architect who once promised her forever, but ended up falling for fame and ego. Their love had started as something pure and beautiful. College sweethearts who dreamed together, worked together, and believed that nothing could break them apart. But success had changed Daniel. The more he rose in his career, the more he believed Lila wasn't enough. She was too simple, too emotional, too grounded for the life he wanted. And one day, without warning, he left her for a woman named Sabrina, a glamorous model who matched his new image. The divorce broke Lila completely. She sold her art studio to pay her rent, cried herself to sleep for months, and almost lost faith in love itself. But fate had other plans. While she was volunteering at an orphanage one rainy afternoon, she met Ethan Knight, the billionaire who had donated millions for the children's welfare. He had entered quietly with no cameras or reporters, just a man in a simple gray suit holding toys and food for the kids. When he saw Lila reading stories to the children, he stood still, watching her smile, a smile that held kindness, not bitterness. That day, he didn't just meet her. He saw her. Over time, Ethan became her closest friend. He encouraged her to paint again, sponsored her art exhibitions, and never once made her feel small. While the world saw Ethan as a powerful man, Lila saw the lonely heart behind the billion-dollar empire. Slowly, friendship bloomed into something deeper. Though neither had confessed it, Lila, still healing, wasn't ready for love. Ethan, patient and wise, simply waited. And now, 3 years later, at his own charity gala, he had insisted Lila attend, not as a guest, but as the featured artist whose paintings would be auctioned for millions to support the children she once read stories to. Lila walked in wearing a simple, elegant silver gown that shimmered under the lights. Her long hair cascaded softly around her shoulders, her smile calm and radiant. When she entered the hall, people turned their heads, not because of her fame, but because of her grace. But among the crowd, one man's heart almost stopped. Daniel Reed. Daniel stood near the champagne table with his new wife, Sabrina, holding her hand loosely. He hadn't expected to see Lila again. Not like this. The last time he saw her, she was broken, crying, begging him not to leave. But the woman standing across the room now looked unshakable, strong, stunning, confident. It hit him like a wave. What had he done? Sabrina noticed his sudden silence and followed his gaze. "Who's that woman?" she asked. Daniel swallowed hard. "My ex-wife." The word hung in the air like a ghost. Sabrina smirked, tugging his arm. "Well, she's done well for herself, hasn't she? Still, nothing compared to this life." But Daniel couldn't answer because just then, Ethan Knight walked toward Lila, his expression soft yet proud. He placed a gentle hand on her back, leaned slightly, and whispered something that made her laugh. An honest, glowing laugh Daniel hadn't heard in years. Cameras turned, people murmured, the energy shifted, the auction began, and one of Lila's paintings, an image of a woman standing alone in the rain, was the first to be presented. The host announced that the painting symbolized strength after heartbreak. A man from the crowd raised his paddle. Another followed. The bids climbed higher and higher until Ethan himself raised his hand. $2 million, he said calmly. The room gasped. Daniel's jaw tightened. $2 million for her painting. For Lila. Lila turned to Ethan, her eyes wide. Ethan, you can't. He smiled. I'm not buying the art. I'm buying the story behind it. The crowd applauded. Lila's cheeks turned pink, her heart pounding. Daniel looked down, realizing what he'd thrown away. Someone who was priceless. As the night went on, Daniel grew restless. He told Sabrina he needed air, and slipped toward the balcony. But when he stepped outside, he froze again. There stood Lila and Ethan standing close under the moonlight. She was laughing softly, her eyes full of warmth. And before Daniel could blink, Ethan leaned in and kissed her. A tender, respectful, heartfelt kiss that spoke of protection, admiration, and love. Time stopped, guests whispered, cameras flashed, and Daniel's world crumbled. His grip on the railing tightened as jealousy and regret burned in his chest. For the first time, he saw what love truly looked like. Not possession, but peace. Not ego, but respect. Lila pulled back slightly, smiling through tears. Why now, Ethan? She whispered. He looked into her eyes. Because I couldn't stand another night pretending I don't love you. And from the corner of the balcony, Daniel watched silently. His new wife calling for him inside, but his heart breaking beyond repair. Daniel couldn't sleep that night. The image of Ethan kissing Lila burned in his mind. He kept replaying it. How her eyes glowed with peace. How she didn't pull away. How she looked genuinely happy. It tore him apart. The next morning, he showed up at Lila's art studio, desperate and pale. When she opened the door, surprise flickered in her eyes. Daniel, why are you here? He swallowed hard. Lila, I made a mistake. Leaving you was the worst decision of my life. Please, can we start over? Her face softened, but only for a second. Daniel, she said gently. You didn't lose me when you left. You lost me when you made me believe I wasn't enough. Tears filled his eyes, but Lila continued, her voice steady. I'm not angry anymore. I'm grateful because losing you helped me find me. Just then, Ethan appeared at the door, holding coffee for her. His presence was calm, protective. Daniel stepped back as he realized this was love, the kind he could never give. Ethan placed a hand on Lila's shoulder and she smiled, resting her hand on his. Daniel nodded slowly, pain filling his heart, but acceptance in his eyes. Take care of her, he whispered to Ethan, then turned and walked away, this time for good. As the door closed, Lila exhaled, leaning into Ethan's arms. Do you think I was too harsh? She asked softly. Ethan smiled. No, Lila, you were strong. You finally chose yourself. The morning light poured through the window, illuminating her face. The woman who rose from heartbreak to happiness. And that, dear viewers, is what true love and self-worth look like. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more emotional stories like this.